Hi, and welcome to the week 3 overview. So remember that you should always watch this overview video first, as I'll just kind of be going over, reminders, comments about, grading that I've done. Just always watch this video first. And so first I want to say that I have graded week one's assignments and discussion board. So anything that was due in week one should be graded now. And so you do want to go back to those graded items because I will always leave feedback on them. Even if you got a 100, I sometimes or always leave some sort of feedback so that you can know, hey, like this is why I got 100. Let me do this again so that I get another 100. Or if you see a grade that's not 100, I always explain where I dock those points and why, and maybe even some advice for how to improve for next time. So make sure you either go back to, you can, I think, go back in two ways. So you can go either back to week one and then click on the actual assignment itself. And I believe that you should be able to see it there. Or you can go to the grade book, and I think that there should be a little speech bubble to expand, and you should be able to see my feedback there. So make sure you go back and look at that. Additionally, there are still some individuals who aren't completing some or like some assignments or no assignments. And so if you review my late policy, I am very flexible in that, especially with the first and second week. I understand that people are still figuring that out. And so I haven't really put any zeros in for those who have not completed those assignments yet. But this week, especially at the end of this week, I will go back and put zeros in for those week 1 and 2 assignments. And then additionally, from here on out, if by the time I come and grade that discussion post or that response or, whatever it is, and you haven't submitted it yet, I will put a 0 in the grade book. And then depending on the circumstance, I may or may not let you make that up. But again, you should never assume that you can turn something in late. And if there is something that doesn't make sense, you're confused, a button doesn't work, whatever it is, you need to email me about that individually. It really doesn't help when I receive emails that are like, some of us are confused, or me and XYZ are confused. It's a lot easier for me to know if something's wrong with Brightspace if I have like 5 emails, in my inbox saying, hey, I can't access this link, versus one person who's like, this isn't working for me. I might think that it's on their end. Like, I have no way of knowing, right? And so if something doesn't work for you, if you are confused about something, you should email me right away so that we can figure that out, and so that it doesn't get to the point where you have to turn in something late or lose credit for it completely. So make sure you're keeping on top of that. And then also, if it's too complicated to do over email, make an appointment with me or come to office hours. There have been several individuals who have just emailed me and been like, hey, can we meet tomorrow? Hey, can we meet, what X day at X time? And I'll either say yes, or I'll say no, how about this time? And so it's really that easy. Sometimes the meetings literally last 5 minutes. I would rather have that one-on-one conversation with you, especially with some of these online hybrid classes. If you're not used to it, you can still get that face-to-face time with me. You just need to email me or come to my office hours. You don't need to email me for those. I have noticed some issues with like the calendar on Brightspace. I have to be honest with you, I'm still figuring that out. There are some other like old assignments that I have in there from other professors to help me, and they have due dates on there, and I think sometimes they show up on there. So I'm in the process of trying to fix that. But if you do see something on the calendar that, doesn't make sense, you're like, I haven't seen this in the due date box. This is past due and she didn't say anything about that. Don't worry about it. Don't look at the calendar. Everything that's in the week module will be what is due that day. Like in that box that's like due dates at a glance, those are all correct. That is what is actually due. Okay, and then another thing I noticed is that a lot of you did not embed your videos into the speech discussion board. It's not a huge deal, right? So basically the difference is it'll either show up as a link that you have to click on to go to YouTube, or it'll already be in like the discussion post, and I don't have to go to a new window for that. And so sometimes it doesn't even work when I click on the link, then I have to copy and paste it. And so it's just a lot easier, and it like views better if you embed it as a insert stuff. So don't use the little link button that looks like a link. I know it's counterintuitive. You want to use the little black box that has like a triangle in it. Click on that. It says insert stuff. Like if you hover your mouse over it, and then you can scroll down and there's a link insertion, and then you the link in there, but then it'll embed it as a video. There are instructions on how to do that. So if you didn't look at them last time, I mean, obviously lots of people did not, make sure you're looking at that and know how to embed it correctly, because I really would prefer it be in that format. And I'll make a note too when I grade it. I'll be like, hey, you didn't embed it correctly. So this week we're starting, we're going to be talking about the demonstration speech. I mean, first we're going to be talking about organization and intros and conclusions, but that is kind of, straight into this next speech that we're doing, which is the demonstration speech. We have a few weeks to develop it, but this is when I'll first start talking about it this week. And then I'll be working this week to grade your narrative speeches. Please be patient with me as I do that. But yeah. Oh, and then another thing is that, especially with those of you, everybody has a part of your attendance and participation counts for interacting with your online stuff. So if you don't turn in assignments, if you might be like, oh, well, I don't care. I don't want to, I don't need that grade or whatever. I mean, that's fine. That's your decision, but it also impacts your attendance. So if you are not turning in things, for me, it's like, okay, well, you're not really participating with the class. And so I'll report you as absence. And so if that, builds up over time, that's not good for like financial aid, I believe, or even just your ability to take this class. So make sure you're doing that. Reach out to me if you're confused. It's not an excuse to be like, oh, well, I didn't know, or, oh, it didn't work for me. If you hadn't reached out to me, then I had no idea that didn't work for you. So you need to let me know. All right. Good luck with this week's assignments. As always, let me know if you have questions, if something doesn't work, and I look forward to our next speech.